What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Learn to Defend Cyber. My name is Joseph, and today we are going to be working on Tryhackme's phishing emails in action room. So, if you remember last time, when we were working on Tryhackme last Monday, we were working on the phishing email analysis fundamentals room. We're going to kind of follow up onto it today. So this one is not actually really a lab. So if you're looking for something more technical, I would maybe look at that last one we did where we kind of actually looked at the headers of an email. This one is more explaining some of the social engineering techniques, some of the techniques that phishing emails use and people who are sending phishing emails may use to try and get you to click, build that sense of trust. I think the following rooms are a little bit more technical, so if you join up in a week when we go, or if you're in the future and you find the next video in this series, it will more than likely have the more technical analysis of these emails. But on that note, let's go ahead and pivot on over to the Tryhackme Room. Okay. So, phishing emails. We've all got them before. If you've got an email, more than likely you've received a phishing email. I do have to click this join room button before we can get anything going. We walked through what phishing emails were and why people click on them, what their goal is, etc., the last time. But as a quick review, phishing emails are emails that are crafted in hopes to get you to click on or download some form of malicious link or malicious attachment in hopes that you give up your credentials or you download that attachment, maybe some malware runs, whatever the case may be, right? So this is basically a forewarning in this room saying, hey, everything in here is from real malware, from real phishing emails, so be careful if you interact with anything. That's a good heads up. Each email that we will look at will show us different tactics that phishing emails use to look legitimate. What's going on, Cyber Cycle? Welcome on in. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 emails for us to go through here, and you can see the content of each email. The subject line, that is what I was trying to think of there. The subject line is the name of each tab here. I'm sure you've probably received one of these mass emails before. It says, hey, cancel your PayPal order. We have other examples here. Track your package, select your email provider. I can't say I actually received something like that, but that sounds like something that would be great for an office document, or like if you're trying to get somebody in an office. Update your payment details. Here's some info about your recent purchase. Oh, hey, you've got a package coming. They're all using the same kind of technique, and this is part of what is called pretexting. So if you're taking the Security Plus or the CYSA Plus, or I think even in the Pen Test Plus, they talk about pretexting. Pretexting is this idea that you, the phisher, the threat actor, or you, if you are a red teamer and you're trying to phish somebody, crafts this email, and it starts with the subject line, right? It has to be something that gets the attention of an end user, or gets the attention of us, right? Hey, I'm going to see an email that says, cancel your PayPal order. I'm going to go, I didn't order anything on PayPal. What do you mean? Clicky, clicky, click into the email. I look at it. Oh, it says that I bought something. I should click on this to stop the PayPal order from going through, right? That's what they're trying to do. So we're going to see, it looks like we are looking at a couple different tactics. Spoofed email address, URL shortening services, and HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand. I'm going to say that this HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, we're probably going to see that on most of these phishing emails. I have not looked ahead, so I do not know. But a lot of your phishing toolkits, a lot of your threat actors who are creating phishing emails will get these legitimate emails from Netflix, Disney, DHL, PayPal, whoever they get the email from that they're trying to impersonate, rip the HTML out of it, make their own email, basically throwing the HTML into it and replacing links or adding attachments to copy these people. So, first and foremost, we got the subject line. This is establishing some sense of urgency, right? That sense of urgency is very common with phishing emails. Some very quick observations we can make. Look, we see it's from service at PayPal, but if you look at it, and this is without even going into the HTML, you can see it's at this no reply, a bunch of gobbledygook at sultanbogor.com. Seems legit, right? And it comes to us, whoever the recipient is. This is not the email address associated with the Yahoo account, so we're probably BCC'd or something. Either way, it's not intended to have come to us. That is a big red flag. That big gobbledygook email right there is a big red flag. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in as well. And then your receipt for payment to Amazing Stuff. That seems like a pretty generic subject line, right? For payment to Amazing Stuff, that's not even really good English. And that's a big red flag when it comes to phishing emails, right? So, let's look at the contents of the email body. So here's the email body. Amazing Stuff gift card email delivery. So it says that we bought $120 worth of Amazing Stuff gift cards, a totally legitimate item. And it came to us at whatever this email is, if that's even the email associated with the account. You sent a payment of $120 to Amazing Stuff, help center at blah. Gives us some merchant info. So it looks like a legitimate email, right? You were like, oh, maybe somebody did get into my PayPal. Maybe somebody did send a payment to these people. Oh, there's a big button here. Cancel the order. There's a couple things we can do, and I would urge end users to do, right? If they receive an email similar to this, right? Maybe they're on a business account. They have access to a business PayPal for whatever reason. And they get an email that says, hey, this is from PayPal. Let's say that first and foremost, this service at PayPal, they didn't see this. That absolutely should tell them that this is fake. Confirm with your accountants. Be like, hey, do you see a transaction for $120 on this date and time? Blah blah blah. There's always ways that you can confirm whether or not. Obviously, if this was your account and it was your PayPal, you could just go to your bank account and see whether or not the transaction came out. If it didn't, then you know it's fake, right? But the goal is to get them to panic. They're like, uh-oh, $120 on the company credit card. I need to cancel this now. So they hit the cancel button. The cancel button goes to some shortened link here. We can see in the HTML where it says cancel that or cancel the order. That's the button right there. It goes to https is.gd gobbledygook 60cj whatever, right? It's a shortened link. Shortened links make it hard even when you do a hover over, right? Because that's one of the things we immediately tell people to do. We're like, hey, hover over links. It'll tell you where it's going. You can see if you're trying to go somewhere, it's saying that you're wanting to go, but you're not actually going there. That's one of the first tips we love to give people. If they see is.gd, they're not gonna think that that's wrong because they don't know it's wrong. We can see, it looks like here's a screenshot where they're using some tool online that lets us know the destination of shortened URLs. There's a few of them. I think one of the tricks you can do is add a plus sign at the end of the shortened URL as well, and it will whatever URL shortener it is will show you where it's leading you to. All right, and this is more on the phishing email analysis side. An end user is probably not going to do this. So here's the screenshot of the distant page. Looks like it's in German. It redirects to google.com. And tools to expand shortened URLs will be discussed in the phishing emails 3 room. Yes. So the room after this will more than likely talk about how we can actually do the technical analysis of this. We're more worried about the tactics that people use, right? We got that sense of urgency. You're losing money. Something's wrong. What's going on, Jerry? Welcome to the party, man. All right. So, what phrase does the gibberish sender email start with? We saw up here it starts with that no reply. So we come back down. What could we do? How could we tell end users to combat this, right? Maybe you can convince them to look at who actually sent the email, right? Maybe you could convince them to do that. That's not too much to ask. A lot of your email clients will have it right next to it. It'll be like, oh, it shows it in these little brackets. You can see who actually sent it. You can see that it wasn't meant to come to you. It comes to some magnanimous CNSMR SG3 Yahoo, whatever. But always confirm before you start clicking on things, right? You can get with accounting to see if the purchase came through. No one's going to be upset, and honestly, frankly, if someone does get upset at an end user for asking questions, that's just probably not a good fit to be helping people. Another good thing to establish with end users is if you see something, say something, right? If you see something that looks like phishing and they're like, I don't know if this is phishing, just send it to help desk or whoever, someone more technical. It depends on the layout of your enterprise or your business. It doesn't matter your size. If you run a fleet of 20 computers and you have end users sending phishing emails to you all the time, at the very least, you can know that they didn't click on them, right? And as you teach them that, hey, these are the phishing emails, and yes, you were right, and you make them feel better about not clicking on them, they're going to click on them less and less. And that same advice is probably going to apply to most of these. Phishing emails, unless they're super well crafted, your advice that you give people is pretty much the same. Don't click on things unless you're absolutely sure it was you or for you. Don't download random attachments unless you know you were expecting this attachment, this email, right? All right, track your package. We have track your package with a random order number. Looks like we have another spoofed email address. Contact at baconpro.club. Begin Pro. I can't believe I just read that as bacon. Whatever. At beginpro.club. So maybe this one looks a lot more legitimate, right? They're like, oh, you know, maybe this is from beginpro.club. It's not a big scary string of text like this. Your end users may be more likely to be comfortable with seeing that. So, email is tailored to appear that it is sent from a mail distribution center of some sort. It adds to the pretense with the tracking number. Yeah, it makes it look a little more legit, right? There's a tracking number involved. The link in the email body matches the subject line. So somebody has taken a little bit more time here to make it a little bit more believable. We have the same tracking number that's in the subject in the body of the text. And I'm sure if we were to hover over, you see this devret.xyz with a bunch of gobbledygook behind it. One hover over the link and you can see where it's pointing to, but in this example that technique won't work because Yahoo disabled links. Okay, so we can't hover over, but we can look at the source code and see where it's going to. And we disabled all images and links in the email. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing to have set up. So we see this random domain with this random directory. And we have the same domain with a tracking.png. That's probably a tracking, what do they call it? Tracking pixel. Yeah, see, we have it down here. There are many reasons for spammers to embed tracking pixels, very small images, into their spam emails. To read more about this concept, refer to the post on The Verge here. We can go ahead and look at that. Tracking pixels. Basically, it is a very, very small image embedded in an email. It's tracking different things, like whether or not you open it, when you open it, what time you're using. It's gathering analytics on you, right? A threat actor might want to know that information because if you open the phishing email, they might go, oh, this person actually looks at the phishing emails. Let's send more. Let's send more phishing emails. You know, maybe we can dial in and there's going to be something that just, they get curious and they click on it, right? So these pixels exist for that information, and it gathers information about like when you might be using your email, so they know maybe I'll send more emails at 4 o'clock. Yahoo automatically blocks the images in this email, so the tracking pixel does not work, and the hyperlink doesn't work because they disabled the link as well, but we can see it in the headers in the raw HTML where it's trying to go, that devret.xyz, which is not a legitimate domain, especially if it's supposed to be tying to this beginpro.club, right? It would go to that same domain. What advice would I give an end user for this one, right? Same thing. Did you expect this? Did you know you had a package coming? If you did you know it was coming from this distribution center contact at beginpro.club? If you didn't expect it, there's no reason to be worried. And if you were expecting this and you did see this and you're like, oh, I need to click on this, and the link's not working because it's been disabled, well, what you can do instead of trying to grab the link, however, is go and verify yourself. Go to the legitimate site that you know is safe and type in that tracking number. If there's not an order, it's not an issue, right? You'll have your actual order number eventually, and you can go on the site and track it yourself. You don't have to click the links. The links are there for convenience. But this one, you're probably going to get the... You're probably going to have to harp on the fact that the domain does not match the distribution center, right? You don't know who Begin Pro Club is. You shouldn't be clicking on anything from them. And of course, you'd be saying this in a nicer, more supporting manner. But for sake of brevity, I'm trying to speed it up a little bit because there are a few more emails. Right. Just go through and verify with that domain if you were expecting something, but this one's not a legit domain in any manner, so in reality, they probably would not be expecting it. What is the root domain for each URL? That is going to be that devret.xyz. So devret, they want you to defang it. If you remember last week, we talked about defanging. That is using those brackets to make it to where the links aren't clickable. Select your email provider to view this document. Now, this one sounds like it would be aimed at somebody in an office who is looking at stuff. Great breakdown. Thank you. All right. Let's look at this email. What do we got? We have an email that came in at 7/15/2021 at 1:35 p.m. and it's saying that expires on 7/15, July 15th. So there's some sense of urgency going on here. They want us to download a document. Big red flag. They're using this sense of urgency because they're like, hey, you have to download this document before it expires today. So you download the document, right? What does it take us to? It looks like we clicked on it. This is just breaking down some of the stuff we were looking at. In this case, a button to download the facts. It takes us to app.poppedinlanding whatever. A OneDrive document has been sent to you. Access it by clicking the button below. Get documents. Sorry, Jerry in the background throwing me off. It's only payback, right, for what I do to him during streams. But either way, you click document or you preview the facts here, and it takes you to an area to sign in. We can see that it's blurred out. There's stuff in the background. It's probably Ipsum Lorem or just a bunch of garbage data. And it takes us to yet another domain, bdkmotorsport.com, WordPress website, and it takes us to SharePoint Online, which we can see that it does not match the SharePoint URL. And then asking us to sign in with our credentials because it wants us to sign in with our email. So you either use Outlook or 365 or some other magnanimous form of mail. It's impersonating this Adobe document. It wants us to punch our credentials in so that it can steal our credentials. To read the document, please enter with the valid email credentials that this file was sent to. That doesn't make sense. That's not like very logical. Please enter with the valid email credentials that this file was sent to. That's not very good grammar, not very good English. That's definitely something you can look out for in phishing emails. Of course, with AI and the rise of AI, that is not always the case, right? We see now, oh, this is being run in any.run. That's funny. We see now, nowadays, AI is typing out these phishing emails, so the grammar's much better. But it is a telltale sign, especially in a website that's supposed to be Adobe official. They're going to have their grammar correct. The victim is directed to yet another site. Yep, we saw that. And we get a login page. Log in with Outlook. Enter your email. We'll never share your email with anybody else. Well, if you typed it in there, they're going to share it with everybody. And your password. We choose to log in. It looks like they put in some dummy data. And we got invalid credentials with some weird camel case invalid, which is not normal. In this sample, we can tell the fake credentials were entered, but even if the victim would have entered valid credentials, the error would be the same. Okay, so they're doing their due diligence here and saying that even if they put in true credentials, it would have just failed over and over again because the credentials are just being harvested. There's some grammatical errors. All the work they put into this, you would think they would run a spell check. No, they don't need to. Email sample was obtained from any run. So here's the any.run analysis right here. This email sample used the names of a few major companies, their products and logos such as OneDrive and Adobe. What other company was used in this phishing email? So we had OneDrive, we had Adobe. Let's see. Who else was it trying to impersonate? Comes from profility.com. You can see that it goes to a OneDrive, impersonates Adobe, but it also mentions Office 365. That's good credentials to have. Maybe they're looking for Office 365. Doesn't look like there's that many asterisks. You can kind of usually tell. But we'll try it anyways. Nope. So who else were they running and around in here with? Let's see. Yeah, CyberCycle, India, absolutely. That's just written in end user, absolutely. Oh, let's see. Who were they trying to impersonate that wasn't just Adobe and Outlook? Oh, Citrix right here. Contact uses Citrix files to share documents securely. So they're also impersonating Citrix. All right. On to the next email. What would I do to, well, before we move on to the next email, what would I do to dissuade end users from clicking all over this one, right? Yeah, that sense of urgency is there. You kind of got to drill in that the sense of urgency is not normal. They might have emails come over from time to time that have a sense of urgency for them to get stuff done, but they know ahead of time. Typically, they've had a phone call or something. Another big red flag, it goes to OneDrive, but this is not OneDrive. And that .in, someone pointed out, let's see, CyberCycle pointed out that is India. Yeah, that's not normal, right? We can show them that it goes to yet another domain that is not associated with Adobe, bdkmotorsport.com, just a random website. There's plenty of red flags that you can share with end users here. Please update your payment details. All right, yet another thing, right? You gotta watch the newest, coolest shows because we know that Netflix has all of those. Netflix. We can't watch Netflix no more because our account got canceled because we're broke. So we need to click on the links to fix that. Right off the rip, what are we seeing? Netflix, that's like two capital I's instead of an L, it looks like. I can't tell with the font. It does make it a little weird. That's the point. They're trying to abuse the fact that the fonts make it look weird to impersonate using a technique known as typo squatting. The sense of urgency is presented because we gotta watch Netflix, so we need to change our payment details right now. Z99 at musakombi.online is totally a representative of Netflix, so that's something we could point out to them first and foremost. Really, really easy. Netflix ID is suspended. We can point out that that's not even spelled correctly. And let's see, that looks like a screenshot, kind of. But it is there to just help drive that sense of urgency because it's saying your account is on hold. Can't watch Netflix. No more Breaking Bad for you. Or whatever else they have on Netflix. So we can see here, if we look down and change the font a little bit, I'll zoom in just a little bit. NetILX, that is a capital I next to a lowercase l. And then down lower, they have that NetFLLX, so both misspelled. And they are trying, it looks like, down here, please open file PDF to update your account. You shouldn't have to download a PDF ever to update anything for your online streaming accounts. Need help? We're here if you need it. Your friends, call this number that's probably not even Netflix's number. They have a big red dot to it, so I'm sure they're going to explain something to it about us. And then a random PDF. Notice phone number for Netflix. At first glance, that's an unusual phone number to send to a US-based victim. Yeah, that's not how our phone numbers look. We download the PDF anyways because we really want to watch Netflix. And it looks like that PDF has embedded links. That's another stage that you should be telling end users, hey, if you got to the point where you downloaded the PDF to change your credentials and you see these embedded links all over the place, it's not okay, right? None of these vendors are going to be sending this legitimately. And again, in the case, let's say this wasn't Netflix, let's say this was coming from a business partner, maybe some business email compromise, you would know ahead of time that you were receiving a document like this. Either you would be talking with them over email, and then you would receive a document such as this. Hoverovers still do kind of look, and it says in the phishing emails room 3, or if phishing emails 3 room, will be looking at this document more. So if you're excited for looking at the actual technical part of this, then definitely tune in on the next one where we dive into that. But what should users do if they receive a suspicious email or text claiming to be from Netflix? Don't click it. They have a specific line in here I'm sure they want me to click. Or let's see. What line do they want me to copy? They're pretty specific. I would tell them to go ahead and go to Netflix on their own. You know, if they do have a Netflix account, and they're scared that they don't access it, just try to sign in. Just go to Netflix on your computer. Just try to sign in. If your Netflix's account is still working, then you're good. What's going on, Rhonda? Squid Games. Yeah, Squid Games is the new hotness. I don't know what they want us to put in here. Here's the meat and potatoes, blah, 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 blah. Notice that the phone number is strange. Contains an embedded link titled Update Payment Account. We'll look at this email attachment in closer detail in the upcoming phishing emails 3. What should users do if they receive a suspicious email or text claiming to be from Netflix? I mean, yeah, as I said, go and try and look at Netflix on your own, but they want a specific email, or they want a specific response. Is it possibly in this? Help.netflix.com maybe? What do they want? How was I ever able... How was I meant to garner this from the room? Thank you, question hint. Alright. So what do they say? Okay. Users who receive a suspicious email or text claiming to be from Netflix are advised to forward the message to phishing@netflix.com. You're never going to get an end user to do that. Forward the email to... Yeah, okay, so... We'll just copy this. This is our answer for our flag. Alright. The email will sample the email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed emails, recipient is BCC'd, that is blind carbon copy by the way, urgency, poor grammar, and attachments. So we have an email that came in. Action required. Your recent purchase double jackpot slots Las Vegas on the Apple Store, or on the App Store Friday the 3rd. So it looks like they did receive this email on the 3rd, so they're definitely using the technique of urgency. And they give you a time, 9:32 Greenwich Mean Time. Kind of looks like it comes from Apple support, but it really comes from do no reply, store or mail, blah blah blah, at some premed.com, some random domain. And it goes to no reply payment at Apple ID, blah, blah, blah. But the legitimate user account is BCC'd here. So this is a red flag, right? If this was coming to you and it was meant to come to you, you would be in the to field and not the BCC field. First and foremost, we have an attachment that they are asking us to download. It's a .dot, which is it explains down here, a DOT file is a page layout template that is associated with Microsoft Word. Strange attachment, right? End users aren't going to know what a DOT is. So that's a red flag that you could point out to your end users. Hey, this is a file type you don't know. You don't need to be downloading this. But let's say they did anyways. You get into it, and it says that we have a hyperlink here that goes to t.umblr.com, redirect to a different domain here, apps, iOS games, Menacilla, with a bunch of garbage after it. First and foremost, don't download weird attachments. That's a tip for your end users that we've been kind of harping on this entire time. And we brought it up a couple emails ago. Go to your bank, go wherever, and see if the transaction actually happened. If the transaction actually happened, now you start having cause for concern, right? Above image shows what it can contain within the attachment. You can see the file contains a large image to resemble an App Store receipt. Notice the link contains certain keywords related to Apple's apps and iOS. Another thing is, if they are an Apple user, which it would be even funnier if they weren't an Apple user and they received this. Imagine being a Samsung user and getting an Apple receipt. That's pretty easy to say, hey, no, I didn't do that. But if they are an Apple user, Apple has it in their devices where you just go into your account and you can see what transactions have been made on your Apple account. You don't have to click on anything. They're not going to ask you to download anything. What does BCC mean? That is blind carbon copy. You BCC people on emails when you don't want other people on the email to know who it was sent to. What technique was used to persuade the victim to not ignore the email and act swiftly? That was the technique of urgency. DHL Express Courier Shipping Notice. Woo. What's going on, FedEx? Chat is rolling. What's going on, Jesse? Ready for next week? Oh yeah, we're talking about Denver. Denver's great. It's gonna be a blast. Cyber Stoic, what's going on? Hate traveling, but I'll maybe enjoy being there. Yeah, it's gonna be nice and cold. You can put Apple Music on Android. You can put Apple Music on Android, but still, if you don't have an Apple account, then you're not really going to be making transaction on the Apple iStore. So if you're not an iOS user, you're not going to be making transactions on the iStore. That is the Apple Store. All right, so DHL. This is a super common one. A lot of people like to fish as DHL. Fun story. I didn't even know DHL was a thing until I was in like maybe my late teens. So go ahead and hit all the funny jokes. You know, what was that last week? Yeah, pretty much. But I didn't know DHL was a shipping company. I guess they usually do a lot of things coming from out of the country into the country. But we have an email coming from DHL. Looks legit, right? We got a email notice right here. We got a tracking order, but it comes from glamcarcompany.de. That's not right. That shouldn't be what DHL's email looks like. And we've got some more embedded HTML to make the DHL email look legit. So if we look at the source code of the email, the link to view the email as a web page doesn't contain an actual destination URL. Yeah, that appears to be the case. The only element the victim can interact with in the email is the attachment, which is an Excel document. Okay. Interesting. DHL is the OG FedEx. Oh, more you know. So we can see here that we do have an Excel document. To translate language, kindly click enable editing above. If this isn't a massive red flag, I know a lot of people, a lot of end users, they're going to see this and just panic in general. But the reason they want you to enable editing is so that the macro can run. So yeah, next screenshot, right? Macro runs. 16-bit MS-DOS subsystem. It looks like it failed too. The CPU encountered an illegal instruction. And then we have the error. Choose close to terminate the application. We'll look at this email attachment later in closer detail in the phishing emails 3 room. So it looks like that's where all of our technical analysis is. That sounds exciting. What is the name of the executable that the Excel attachment attempts to run? It looks like it's trying to run regisms.exe. So, you know, just like any other time that we've been kind of talking about, we can kind of summarize this whole thing, all the tips that you give the end users in the same way, right? Don't download attachments that you're not expecting. don't download attachments that you don't recognize, like ISO or RAR or DOT or anything for that instance. DHL is not going to be sending you Excel documents. That's weird. Always look at these emails to verify that the user is who they say they are, and try and verify outside of the email as much as possible. Try and find receipts for transactions. If you're that worried about what happened, try and find the receipt for the transaction. Try and log into your Netflix account. Try and figure out whatever it is that's going on with the context of the email without clicking anything in the email. I mean, I know it's a lot to ask for people. I do it myself, right? I'll get an email that says, oh, I don't know, your PlayStation password has been changed. I ignore most of them nowadays, but back in the day, the way I would verify it is by turning on my PlayStation. If I'm signed into my account, cool, whatever, I don't care. I wouldn't click on anything. You can go to the trusted site of PlayStation, sign in, or Netflix and sign in. If you download any kind of documents, like in a macro-enabled Excel file or a Word document or whatever it may be, clicking to edit is what allows those macros to run. If you don't need to edit the document, don't enable editing. It's basically just contextual and situational awareness, and you have to harp with your end users. You have to be on top of them and be like, hey, if you aren't sure, send it to us. That is our job, is to make sure that you're secure. If this is just a normal standard email and this was meant to be happening and nothing's crazy about it, the worst that will happen is we'll tell you that it's a normal email and you're good to go with whatever is going on. So here's some different resources for phishing awareness. This is probably great to share with your end users. And the next room is Phishing Emails 3, which we'll be doing next time on stream. We can hit the complete button and get our award for completing the room. Pretty easy room. Yeah. Red flag. DHL, that's used a lot in South America. Are you streaming on Monday? I'm probably... I don't know if I'm going... I don't know if I'm going to be streaming next Monday, because I think I'll be traveling. I'll be on a plane when I'm supposed to be streaming. So... probably not streaming next Monday, but the following Monday I will definitely be streaming. I use Fishtool a ton. Yeah, Fishtool is pretty cool, but as Chris Whitlock said, no public shaming. There's not going to be any kind of shame for going to your security team if you aren't aware on whether or not something is a phish or not. That's their job, right? That's what they're there to do. So thank you all so much for joining. I will see y'all in 2 weeks. That is going to be, let's grab the date. Monday the 10th for the next stream. And if you are coming to Wild West Hackenfest Denver, I will see you there. Until next time, take care.